You know what? Man, we got clowns in this room, man.
Nah, stop, man.
I'm trying to be serious. I'm trying to get ready for a Wednesday Audible show. I got the great Sam Madison with me, and the boys in the back are kind of punking around back there with us and whatnot. Trey still trying to steal Leon's job back there. Leon don't even know what's going on behind him.
Hey, Leon was on time today, though.
He's got on time. Leon knows he's on thin ice. He knows the wintertime's coming. The ice is still thin. It's not thick yet. It's still
just a little chilly outside.
That's right, just a little chilly outside. This is the Audible. It's Wednesday, as I said. Kim Bokamper, Sam Madison with you. And Sam, first of all, I got to ask you, what's been happening on Madison Avenue these days?
Oh, man, it's been fun, man. The guys, they've been engaged and just a lot going on. But, on top of me riding around with different guys, man, you know I've been out there coaching, man. And you came out to our game, so you know how it goes. Myself, JT, I thought I was
That's a star-studded lineup there, man. I'm not talking about the guys in the field. I'm talking about the guys wandering the sideline.
I thought I was going to be the one screaming and yelling, but JT.
Oh, JT's in.
I'm like, hey, man, just calm down a little bit. I'm like, it's going to be okay, but, he's doing a phenomenal job, man.
JT coaching he coaches like every offensive line coach I've ever seen, right? JT looks like one of those guys during practice. God damn it, turn my hat around. I'm going to get down this. I'm going to show you how you do. I'm going to show you.
Stop. Get in the 7 technique. It's the 3rd week in a row I've been telling you that. I be on there crying like, man, I thought I'd be screaming. But JT, he gets after it, but he's good.
They talk good going to the Madison Avenue. Their favorite one, I love them all, but I think my favorite one so far has been when you're in the Bahamas with Dupe and Clayton, with the Marx brothers on the golf cart, and the best thing was Clayton sitting in the back seat. I remember I asked you, I said, how come Clayton had to sit in the back seat?
Because he got there late. He was out on the course hitting golf balls. So.
Clayton always late. Mark Clayton, one of the great players the Dolphins have ever had. One of the fun players to have as a teammate. But man, I tell you what, Clayton always liked to get under Coach Shula's skin, man. Always and he was never late. But he's always almost late.
That's what he said. He was like, Sam, he was like, I never was late.
Never was.
I was pushing it a little bit.
You were never at St. Thomas. No. You were always at this facility.
Yes.
Well, at the old facility we used to at St. Thomas down in Miami, we had the offensive lockers were on this side of the room, and on that side, that's the door that went into the meeting room, the main meeting room. And Clayton's locker was right there. So he could sit at his locker, and there was a clock right above the door, right? He could sit at his locker, lean back, and look in, and he could look right into Coach Shula stand at the podium. So Coach Shula would be standing at the podium. Let's say the meeting was at 8 o'clock, right? It'd be 7:58. Clayton still be relaxing in that chair, looking over. And he'd be looking at the coach, and you can see the coach here, and he'd be looking at the corner of his eye. Because Clayton's still sitting, he goes 2 minutes. Now he starts looking at his watch. And then all of a sudden, you'd see Clayton by the door. And it'd be like 10 seconds left, and he'd be by the door, right by the door. And both of them looking at each other. And we're all sitting there.
They drove each other crazy.
We're all sitting there looking at it. And everyone's going 5, 4, 3, 2. Clayton would just walk right into the room. Walk right in the room. And he would always walk behind Coach Shula. Now, he walked behind Coach Shula. Everyone's right here. Coach Shula stand up there.
He's making a joke.
Clay would always walk by him and turn and just give you that smile. Like, got him again.
So we were over in London together, and we was talking about it. He was like, Sam, but I was never late. I was like, man,
man. But I tell you what, he got it going. Hey, who's you're the favorite? You're the favorite guy you've had on that on your Madison Avenue show?
Channing Crowder, man.
Yeah, Channing's the best.
He started singing the little kids songs because he has the little ones, and man, when he started busting out and singing, I just was dying, man. But all of them been phenomenal, and the guys, the current players when they first come on, because they don't really know my demeanor. They don't really know me as much. And what I try to get stuff that the fans don't really know about them, and try to get the fans to understand exactly who they are. Yeah. So it's just been fun to be able to work with them. as soon as they get in the car, they're sitting back there like uptight.
Yeah.
And then so you just got to break out with something funny, man, to just get them loosened up. And that's what I've been able to do and capture some pretty good footage, and it's been fun.
I'm sure it didn't take much to get Channing going.
Oh, definitely not. You know, as soon as he got in there, he already had jokes already set aside. So, you know, not much to get him going. And even when I had Jason on, you know, I've coached. I played 9 years with them. We've been to Pro Bowls, all these different things.
You guys
coach him in
vacation
the youth.
together
And then as soon as he get in the car, he was kind of like uptight. I was like, no, man. I was like, hold on, man. Yeah. And then I pulled over. He was like, Sam, what are you doing? And then I just went crazy. Yeah. You made it in the Hall of Fame, man. So that was the coolest part, man. And then, you know, I got some pretty good smiles out of him. And then he was able to loosen up as well.
You know, it's amazing. It's funny because everyone talks about. I'm sure you get it from a lot of people. What do you miss most about football and playing? And everyone says, look, you certainly miss game days and this, but you know, ultimately it comes. You know, I miss the guys in the locker room, miss the camaraderie, miss the family atmosphere that you have with those guys. And the great thing about it is, you know, I was just this weekend. They had an event for the 17-0 team, 45th anniversary of the 17-0 teams. And I saw the regular guy. You know, Zonka was there and Greasy and Paul Warfield. But I got to see guys like Marlon Briscoe, Bob Hines. You know, the guys that were big parts of that team, but not the guys that's names always jump out. And it was great to see the camaraderie still with all those guys, whether you were a Hall of Famer in Larry Zonka or Larry Little, or whether you were Charlie Babb, you know, a guy that was a kind of a part-time player, special teams guy, or any of the other guys out there, Doug Swift, the bond and the tightness, and it was fun. And then Coach Shula was, man, so Coach Shula, you know, it was just. So basically what they had, all the guys were there, and they brought 4 offensive players and 4 defensive players up. And you're asking them questions and this and that, and just talking about the season and stuff, and then they gave Coach Shula a microphone during the middle of one of them, and one of them told a story. And Coach Shula, all of a sudden you hear, "Oh, that's bullshit!" Right? Everyone's like, "Who said that?" Coach Shula said, "I said that." You know, so it turned into a whole night of just kind of. After that, everyone kind of started throwing shots at each other. But it's all part of that camaraderie and that. And I was fortunate enough to be kind of the outsider sitting there watching these guys. And but I think it's like that, Sam, on every football team. Whether you've won a Super Bowl, whether you're a team that won 6 games in a season, or whatever, it really doesn't matter because you're all thrown into the pit, you're all thrown into the fire, you all face the same challenges, and it does create a lifelong bond for you that you're able to enjoy after the game's over with.
Kim, a couple of weeks ago, you know, the Giants had their, you know, my 10th anniversary of winning, and a lot of these guys, I haven't seen them in so long. You know, I interact with them on the Twitter, the Facebook, the LinkedIn, and all those different things. But, you know, since I retired and I left and I came back to Miami, I've been entrenched here. And just like you said, you miss those guys and being in the locker room with them and having, you know, those one-on-one conversations or yelling across the locker room about this and that. But then when you went on the football field, everybody put in work.
Yeah, it was all about business.
And then, you know, going up there and not seeing majority of these guys, it just like we left off and we was playing in that inaugural game over in London. Guys was talking about those type of things. So, you know, a lot of memories came back up, but just like you say, you missed that part of it. And Pat told me, Sertan, he told me this before I started coaching high school. He was like, Sam, man, it's going to be fun. You know, it's going to be exciting. But yet and still, you have that coach's locker room. And guess what? That same thing goes on. The same stuff goes on in there, man. So it brings you back to life. You have that energy, and you're able to take it out there and give it to those kids. Just like when you were in the locker room, y'all was able to transform and put it on the field.
I know. Pat had to show you the video of OG, Ronde Gasson on the first day of training camp for him.
Yeah, you got to loosen it up, man. But that was entirely too loose. It was a whole lot of looseness going on.
OG, how much you think? How much you think of Ronde Gasson weighed when he played wide receiver for Dolphins? When he was lean and mean.
He would always say that he was bigger than JT. Yeah. So I'm going to say about 235, 240.
When he was playing.
Yeah, when he was playing.
Well, he's about 295 now.
Absolutely. He went from a wide receiver / tight end
to a nose tackle.
To absolutely a nose tackle for sure.
So the first day of practice at St. Thomas or at American Heritage, he comes out with a small jersey that looked like it was busted at the seams, a pair of pants that looked like they were going to bust off at any moment.
I could have got a nose.
With a little rubber hat on his head and ran around. Those guys were going crazy. But that's, those are the things you talk about.
That's what he does, man.
No
He's
doubt
always
about
gonna
it.
try to loosen it up.
Yeah, no doubt. Hey, let's talk a little bit about where we're at right now.
Yeah.
Dolphins 4-2 after a great comeback win, down 14. And Sam, that was one of those games. I think going in, there was a lot of anticipation for that game because you didn't want to fall back. You didn't want to get to 3-3. You wanted to move forward. You'd already lost to the Jets up in the Meadowlands. You never want to lose to never want to lose 2 times to a division opponent.
Correct.
So you had that going on, and you want to stay in the mix for the AFC East playoffs and all those things. And then you find yourself down 14-0. Guys were falling like flies. Tunsil was out. Andre Branch was out. Cutler was out. Guys were just trying to survive. Juwan James had to come out a little bit with a hand injury and went back in. But you're thinking, wow, I don't know that this is going to happen. And sure enough, man, they did it again. And I'm starting to believe, Sam, like Adam Gay said. I said it on the post-game show. I said before when we first came, I said, look, I can hear Coach Gay's right now. That's why we play 60 minutes. And it took almost all 60 minutes to get the job done. But that's kind of become the personality of this football team. Yeah,
young guys, when you have young guys on the football team, they don't really care what goes on. They just want to keep playing, and they just want to keep have an opportunity to make plays. And you look at the Ray Malaluga situation, plugging him into that middle linebacker. The defense have been playing phenomenal. They've been very strong in most parts of the game. Some letdowns here and there, but these guys, they don't stop playing. So it's just been fun to be able to watch them. I tell people all the time, I was like, until that clock says 0-0-0, don't turn away from this Dolphins football team. Kim, it was the same way for us. Our games would be 17-13, 14-10. Things of that nature, but these guys, they just believe in one another. And for Jay Cutler to go down, and then you have Matt Moore to come in, Cole off the bench, and he still have the pulse of this team. You remember this guy was the MVP of this football team some years back, so he has the pulse of this football team, and he's able to make it go the same as if he was a starting quarterback. So it's fun to be able to watch these guys. They take it seriously. When you have a group of young players, their mindset is, I just need to get my job done. I need to get my job done. And you have some rookies on this team that don't really understand the magnitude of playoff bursts and understanding where they are. They just going out there trying to make a play and trying to make the coaches, happy with the play that they're, but playing for your brother, man, that's what it's really about. And these guys are laying it all on the line.
I'm glad you brought that up, because I can remember my rookie year and probably even into my second year. By about halfway through my second year, you kind of figured it out, what it is. But really that rookie year, and I remember my rookie year, we had 4 rookies started on our defense that year. And so you have young guys out there, you don't understand the magnitude of everything, right?
Correct.
You're just playing football,
happy to be there.
Happy to be there. You got a day off on Monday. I'm gonna go to the beach. But then you start to understand the importance of it. But you have that youthful exuberance out there where you're playing, you're running, you're doing what you do, and I think you see that now with this football team. So hopefully it carries over this week. You're watching the Audible. Kim Bokamper here, Sam Madison with you. Turn our attention to the Baltimore Raven team here on Thursday night. Short week for both teams. The Ravens have been struggling. Dolphins are on a little bit of a roll right now. They've got some injuries to deal with. Both teams are going to – Sam, this game, as much as anything, is just about – putting all your injuries behind, putting all the pain behind, and just saying, I got to go out and play a good, hard 60 minutes, 3 hours of football, and then we'll get some time off after this. But this is one of those games that it's a get-through game, but it's a get-through game that's so important for both of these teams if they want to be where they want to be at the end of the season.
It's an AFC game.
Yep.
So it's a must that you don't fall behind in the AFC, just like you talked about with the Jets, with this Baltimore Ravens team, because they're right in their second place in their division as well. So it could be a possibility that they may knock us out later on down the road. But, look at this team to come out and play physical. That's been their MO since I've been playing, and that's always going to be their MO when you have the general manager, Ozzie Newsome, when he drafts those players, that's the type of players that he wants. He wants those blue-collar workers, and when they come in, that's how they present themselves. Have an opportunity to go and do an internship there a few years back. That's their mindset, and it's the next man up. But look for them to take a page out of the Jets game plan where you saw the Jets hitting a lot of screen pass out to Blau Powell and using Forte to run the ball. They're going to keep the ball on the ground. They're going to try to get in and out of this game because they have so many injuries, that they've been battling with over the last couple of weeks. So a very physical game up front. They're going to run the football, and they're going to play tough defense. When you look at this secondary guy, they take the ball away. So Matt is going to have to be very efficient in his passing game because I think they have over 10 interceptions already. The majority of them coming from the secondary guys.
Sam, as a defensive back, and you look at the Saints were able to do it against the Dolphins. The Jets were able to do it against the Dolphins. I'm talking about the screen game.
Yeah.
I think Thurman Thomas even caught a screen in that game last time. But so, and to me, what that says is first they respect the Dolphins pass rush.
Correct.
They know they're going to put pressure on them. One way to beat you can run draws.
Yeah.
You can run counteracts. You can do different things, or you can go into a screen game.
Yeah.
And I think that was their look. They're going to come at us. They're going to try to put pressure on the quarterback. So let's dump the ball off and get the screens. And basically what that does is it gets rid of most of the defensive linemen, the 4 defensive linemen as tacklers on the screen if you get it out wide enough. And now it falls on linebackers and DBs. As a cornerback out there, do you have to play your game a little bit different when you know a team's starting to play that screen game against you?
Yes, you have to play, not cautious, but you have to understand that you are a part of the run game.
Yep.
Even if they're running the ball, the conventional run, and you're playing press, majority of what Coach Burke really liked for Cordray and Xavier to play, up there press man-to-man. So you have to count yourself into the run game. But when you have a screen game, the aspect for the wide receiver is to run you off.
Yep.
And when they run you off, there's nobody outside in that outside third and that outside quarter. And now just offensive linemen just need to just get a little bit onto the linebacker. And now the running back can just pick and choose, turn into sort of a punt returner. So in your mindset, that clock has to be in your head that the ball is coming out and it's coming out as a screen. And you got to get back up and try to set the edge.
In essence, it's similar to the run game. When that screen comes out, you got to create run support.
Absolutely.
Someone's got to get to the outside, force them in. You can't let them to get around the corner, around the perimeter, and force people. And then the guys inside have to come out and make the plays out there. So it's tough. And but to me, you get into a mix of now you start throwing in a little man-to-man with the zone in there because man-to-man's always a breaker of screens.
Correct.
If you can get man-to-man, get the linebacker that's on that running back while he's sneaking out there.
You can run and bump your head on the goalpost.
Yep, no doubt about it.
Nobody's there.
All right, let's take a couple questions here. King Edlin from Periscope. What does the release of Maxwell say about the confidence our staff has in our young DBs? Sam, I'm going to be honest with you. I think it says 2 things. I think it says, A, that they lost confidence in Byron Maxwell.
Okay.
I think there was some concern with him and whether he wanted to play that physical style of game that I think this football team is looking for, as well as I think it shows you the confidence. I don't quite think that they had a whole lot of confidence in Tankersley early on. He was inactive for the first couple of games, was frustrated with that. Byron Maxwell was their guy, and when they had trouble, kind of get Byron Maxwell to kind of buy into what they were doing, I think it just became a situation. They said, hey, look, let's give Tank a shot. Very confident guy, believes in his skills. He's got a cornerback mentality that you want. And Sam, from where I sit and watch him, he seems to be getting better. And I know I had a couple plays last week. They scored on him a couple times. Yep. He's going to get beat. Yep. There's no question about that. But he's always competing. He's always near the ball. And he's always battling for the ball. And that, to me, is something you can build on.
And when I was looking at Xavier last year, I was like, listen, guys, for his footwork at the line of scrimmage, I look and I see this kid being very productive, for many years. And we just talked about it, Kim. When you're a rookie, you're trying to get acclimated. All of a sudden, you had 85 something guys that you've been communicating with, and majority of those 85, some of those 85 guys, those are your close friends, and now they're all gone. Your mind had to shift totally. But for me, he was always around the ball, Tankersley. And now you look at him last week. The pass breakup, Rashard comes up with interception. Those are motivating factors for you. Now you sit here and say, hey, I could have had an opportunity to catch that ball, or I should have made that play. And that's what you're seeing from these guys. It's fun to be able to sit back and try to let the older veterans groom the players.
Yeah.
You know, for me, when a young guy comes in, I would prefer to groom him for about 6 to 7, 8 weeks.
Yeah.
And then you try to transition him in and out. But they've thrown him in, and he's not missing a beat. I love the competition part of it. He's competing. And if there's a big play, he has that old saying that a defensive back, oh, well, it's over my head, and I'm going on to the next play.
You know, and Sam, you can't – I don't care how much you practice. You're never gonna improve at the speed that you're going to improve when you're playing in games.
Right.
Because I don't care what you say, game speed is always going to be different than any practice group, whether you're practicing against another team or it's a scrim, whatever. You're never going to have that speed that you get in a game. And so I think it's an advantage. And Sam, I look at these two guys, and I'm very hopeful and believe in this, that these two guys could be your cornerbacks. They could be Madison and Surtain for the next 5, 6, 7. You know, albeit with free agency and all these types of things, it's hard to get that 7 to 8 year run with guys. But I think these guys could be the cornerstone of that secondary, for a long time to come here. I'm
liking it, and you have a longer guy in Tankersley, and you have Xavier, that right middle of the road, but their body types is perfect for what I like in a cornerback. Now you're able to come in and out of your break, get in and out. Yeah, you're going to come against some taller wide receivers, but the taller wide receivers can't really get out the jam, and that's what they pretty much like to play on a regular basis. So to be able to get the maximum out of these guys, put them out there. Let them see what they can do. And obviously right now they're doing a phenomenal job, and we'll be able to add more, and we'll be able to put more into their wheelhouse of the things that they'll be able to do for as being able to bail and being able to come back, all of those different things. So hopefully I get another opportunity to come back out here and work with them again like I did in the spring, and just try to give them a little bit more insight of what they can do. Because just like you, when I have opportunities to sit and watch them, there's some little small details that I think that I can help them out with. I can help them out with, where the coaches on a regular basis, they're trying to get the game plan, they're trying to get all of these different things. And hopefully I'll be able to talk it through with them.
You know what? There's always something with a guy. I call it nuance, nuance. Leaning on a guy. Forcing them the way you want to force. Just the little things that make a difference. Facebook, Perry Jarrell, is this O-line going to be able to keep Matt Moore on his feet? Well, I think that, what I like about Matt Moore? I like a lot about Matt Moore. I like when he's always ready to go. He comes into the game and he doesn't skip a beat. Just gets in there, boom, starts slinging around and does that. Throws an interception, doesn't let it phase him, comes back and throws 2 more touchdowns and gets you going. But the other thing I think that's going to help Matt Moore, and I think it's also going to help the offensive line, he gets the ball out quick.
Out of his hand.
Boom, back and out. And we've seen Cutler for a little bit where he tends to want to hold the ball in there, look for something, wait for something to come home. Where Matt, I think he understands the scheme so well. He just, boom, I know where this guy's going to be. I'm going to throw it there, expect him to be there. And it just, I think that's going to help both he and the offensive line moving forward.
And you saw it. I mean, John and I, Jimmy, we were sitting there. He was like, Sam, do you see him getting the ball out of his hand? I was like, man, that's going to help the offensive line.
No doubt,
So while you're doing that, it is also going to help the running game as well. So Jay was able to finish the game off strong. You saw those last drive down there, big chunk yardage on the ground. But, for Matt, getting that ball out, and if it's not there, he's outside the pocket getting ready to do something with his leg or even be able to get rid of the ball and get it out of bounds. So, if he doesn't get into that mindset that I want to try to force this ball into a space and come up with that turnover, I think he can finally say, hey, guys, I deserve a shot to be the number one guy. But he's comfortable in his situation. He's been around Coach Gates long enough to understand and know the feel of the game. You listen to him, he's always on the headset, so he sees the flow of the game, how Coach Gates wants to call it. So for him to go in there and make these type of plays, it wasn't shocking to me because he's been there, he's done it before.
Seen it before.
And everybody's on the same page. So it's just fun to have a backup quarterback in this situation when he's called. He's answering for us.
Duke Dennis, hey, Bo, do you see this team having a repeat performance like last year in Baltimore? I don't care what they did last year in Baltimore. I know this football team has struggled. It's always been a mismatch. The Ravens, for whatever reason, and they've had different personnel, different teams. I go back when they had Holly Nada. I go back when they had Tony Saragusa and those guys. tough run and tough defense, but they're not quite the same team that they were in the past, not even like last year. So I think they've got an opportunity up there, and they've got to take advantage. I think Flacco was sacked 5 times in the last game. He's struggling back there. They're not running the ball very well.
Suggs is up and down.
Suggs is up and down. He's not, Suggs, Suggs still a good player, but he needs other guys to help him, to do their job too. So I think there's an opportunity there. I like their chances going up there, Sam. I think this team's confident right now. I think Matt Moore still, he's going to get his first start out there. I think that's going to help this football team. So I feel pretty good about it.
But the offensive line, for us, if we're able to get off to a quick start and run the ball, I think
it makes all the difference in the world.
It makes a big difference, and the offensive line have been knocking guys off the ball. Yeah. You're not going to really see that big stout guy in the middle. Like you talked about, Haloti Ngata, Tony Siragusa, they don't have those type of guys anymore. So I think we'll be able to get penetration. We're going to get movement. Now, the only thing that we will have to contend with is these linebackers blitzing on a regular basis. Well, we're definitely going to have to be able to pick up that blitz. And if we do that, I think we have opportunity to make big plays down the field. Mm-hmm. So, but it all starts with our offensive line and our defensive line, because we need to run the ball. I know we just say that this is a new generation and everybody want to pass the ball. Listen, running the ball and stopping the run, because the Baltimore Ravens is definitely going to want to try to run the ball with this 3-headed monster.
I always say you don't have to run the ball. You don't have to be dynamic running the football, but you have to have the threat of the run, because if not, they're just going to kill you rushing pass. But the other thing too is I would expect Baltimore to do much like the Jets did. Jets sold out against the run.
Yes.
They put everybody at the line of scrimmage. They say you ain't running against us. You can try all you want. And I give Gase credit. He continued to stay with the run.
He did.
And it did pay dividends down the road because you're able to get the ball downfield. So it's going to be interesting. At Cisco Malero. Does our defense playing as well as it is give the Dolphins advantage they haven't had in the past? I look, no doubt. I think this defense, Sam, to me, it's really on the verge of becoming a very, very an elite defense. I think they're consistent in the way they're playing. I think that front seven's as good as we've seen in a long time, and I think the addition of Tippett, of Timmons and Malaluga really have made it a physical front up there. The addition of Tankersley playing back there, and we only got a couple more weeks before TJ McDonald comes back there.
Correct.
Then you're going to see this team take another step forward. So I think this is I think this is one of the best defensive groups we've seen in a long time.
It's been a while, and we've always seen Rashard Jones be that aggressive guy on the football field, and he was so aggressive last year. He ended up missing some games, but now you add in Timmons, who's very aggressive. Malaluga, you saw him make that tackle in the open field, and he punished the running back. And just the nature of these defensive line, bringing in Hayes, and you look at Harris, the way that he plays, he plays extremely well. And everybody is starting to mix in and have that nasty attitude, like in Ndamukong Suh. Suh, when he first came down here, everybody had that bad label. But guess what? He and the rest of these guys, it seemed like they're on the same page, and everybody's flying to the ball. It's really good to be able to watch these guys. And even the cornerbacks, you saw last week, 2 weeks ago, Xavier Howard had a big hit on the sideline. So these guys they're starting to click on all cylinders. We saw early on in the season guys pointing the fingers here, back and forth. Now they're communicating before the play, and now we have an opportunity to make plays. So this defense is getting stronger, it's getting better, and it's something that I think that we're going to be able to lean on later on down the road, because that's when you really, really need the defense to step up, is later down the road. And we're mixing in a lot of guys, so a lot of guys are getting some quality work.
A lot of guys getting a lot of playing time, a lot of reps out there. And, Sam, I also think, and we got to get wrapping up after this, but I also think the guys that they've got out there, there's a good enough mix between young guys and veteran guys that allows the defensive coordinator, Matt Burke. I think he's just getting to the point now where he's able to do some things, where he's able to kind of throw in, add some more things, add some little twists and little turns to his defensive package that are going to make you like to be a defensive coordinator, like to be on a defense when you come into a game. And I remember playing with in Bill Arnsparger's defense, my only defensive coordinator I had for the majority of my career. And I remember talking to quarterbacks that we played against afterwards, and they say, the biggest problem we had with playing against you guys, we had to figure out what you were doing before we could get into our offense, because you were always going to do something different. And by that time, we were usually down 14-0.
Right.
Then all we could do is go back and throw. And then,
Yep.
and I think I started to see that with, I think Matt Burke's in that situation now. He can start pushing some buttons in there, sending different guys. You got a guy like Timmons that can blitz. You got Alonzo that can blitz. I see Sue coming out in zone blitzes. You see Jordan Phillips coming out in zone blitzes. I've seen Sue playing defensive end in the defensive end. I mean, so he's got a lot of different options, and the better these guys keep playing, the more of those options he can take advantage of. And I think it's just going to make this defensive football team, better and better as the season goes on.
So even though when you look at the 3 linebackers, last year Kiko was in the middle.
Yep.
Guess what? He's playing on the outside.
Yep.
So that's a totally different dynamics. Yep. Even when he was in Philly and even with Buffalo, he was in the middle. Now they moved him on the outside. That's a totally different angle, Bo. And you understand. Angle. You understand. Yep. You played down with your hand in the dirt, then you had to move back. Now these guys are getting comfortable. Timmons is new. Alaluga is new.
Yep.
Tankersley is new. Hayes. All these guys are different and new. And even with Rashad coming back, now he can mix. Coach Burke can mix in all the things that he really wants to do, because they have enough reps under their belt.
Yep.
They have reps on film that they can go back and they can talk through and then simulate what's going to happen coming up against these other teams. This is the way they like to run things. Guys, if we do it and we execute this way, this is how we'll be successful. And Rashad Jones coming off the edge, I really love it.
Man, I love that. I tell you talk about the linebackers. I haven't seen tackling, those little swing passes out of the backfield.
And you getting thumped.
They're looking around, man. They're looking around. All right, Sam, we got a plane to catch. We're heading up to Baltimore. You were up in Baltimore. I got to go up there and get some good crabs, man.
Yeah,
you got any recommendations up there?
No, man, that's gonna be all.
You were in training
man.
camp the whole time you were up there.
Yeah, I was in training camp.
You eating training camp food?
Yeah, we was eating training camp food, but it's really, really good. And you enjoy your weather up there. I'm gonna stay down here.
All right, well, I'll be back. Always a pleasure, Sam. Sam Madison.
Man.
You can catch him on Dolphins.com on Madison Avenue. You don't want to miss it. Always good stuff. That's gonna do it for the show today. Look at my man Trey back there, huh? Trey likes going to Baltimore. I think Trey got him a little girl up in Baltimore.
Yeah, and he liked to eat too.
I think he got him a little girl up there.
He liked to eat too.
Yeah, she likes to eat too. I heard she was about 240. Ooh, that's going to do it for the show. That's going to do it for the show today. We'll be back on Friday. We're going to be at Western High School. Western plays at 6 o'clock.
Miramar.
Western plays Miramar. Western wins the game. They go to they got the inside track on the play. I think they clinch a playoff spot if they go. You guys have 2 more games left before the playoffs start, right?
And we'll have Miramar in 2 weeks.
All right, that's going to do it for us. We'll see you on Friday. It's a high school football night on Friday. We'll see you then. Take care.